Hello everybody, James here, Bullets and Buttons, and we're at the Frontier Army Museum in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. So, quick video. They've said I can use the camera inside, so we're gonna walk around and show you what's in there. Just so as you know, Fort Leavenworth was founded in 1827, longest continuous in use army base west of the Missouri River. So anyway, let's go see what's in there. Okay, so we start with the Fort Leavenworth Gallery. I'm here with Mrs. H. And as you can see, because we have a administration in the White House that can't figure out what it's doing, we've got to wear masks here. Harriet Lovejoy Leavenworth, third wife of Henry. Patent 1832, General Officer's tailcoat and epaulets. Sorry. And then infantry officer sword carried by Henry Leavenworth. Look at that thing. So he died in 1834. Mooring ring from the dock of the Missouri River at Fort Leavenworth. Wow, look at that thing. And there's your ox yoke. Dug a few pieces of those up in my time. In fact, I know we found that piece right there. Army warehouse. Oh, I love these models. (1855) Fort Leavenworth. That's a great model. Wow. That's the stables. Dragoon barracks are right here. Supplying the Frontier Army. This is cool. I like this. There's lots of artifacts in here. Wooden water pipe. Look at that. Original stained glass window from Memorial Chapel. (1850s) tin ventilator. Wow. Oh, here we go. Infantry button, artillery button. They got them under magnifiers. Second artillery button, 1811. Artillery core button, 1814. I've actually found one of those. I found one of the core buttons there in Canada. Dragoon sword belt plate. Officer sword plate. I've yet to find one of those. Shoulder scale. Oh, that's interesting. Wait a minute. Has that got an eagle button? I've never seen that before. It's got the epaulet. It's got an eagle button up there at the top.
Oh, nice.
I've never seen that.
Ooh. Did you ever see the little hole where it should be, maybe?
Well, we've seen the hole. There's a hole there, but I've never seen it with an eagle button.
There you go.
That's interesting. Spur, bayonet, 1842. I've got one of those rifles. And then picket pin. Found a fair few of those too out west. Those rusty things though, man, they should Gempler those things. It looks like they're corroding right there in the spot. You can see the rust falling off them. That's cool though. It's nice to see artifacts. It's nice to see it be in a museum where they've actually got artifacts. Okay, stable water trough. This is designed in 1879. Very cool. There's your curry comb. Yeah, but what? That's a later one. That curry comb, it's got leather. It says US on it, but it's a leather one. Got the horse shackles, brush. McClellan saddle. So I saw one of those at Fort Whipple, Arizona. They got one of those McClellan saddle. And there's those stanchions, what are you going to call them? And those things, right? See, I found a bunch of those out there on the Bozeman Trail. The little thing. Interesting. But mine were brass and not. They look iron on this one. So Fort de Cavagnal. Rebuilt, simple stockade, abandoned, 1764. Present location is unknown. Well, that sounds like a challenge for somebody from Kansas or Missouri. Find that place. Very cool. This is a lot later in history. Bugler. The post megaphone. How interesting. They use that to get the sound out. That's awesome. Disciplinary Barracks. This is where if you're a naughty soldier, you come to break rocks. Leg irons. Coffee in the army. That's cool that we got a whole thing on coffee. The Coffee Mill Sharps rifle. Here we go. Sharps rifle carbine 1860s with a small grinder in the stock. Get out of here. I had no idea. The grinder was intended to grind grain for horses. It was initiated by a soldier from Missouri Cavalry Unit, Lieutenant Colonel Walter King. The weapon was not produced in large numbers due to issues with practicality. How impractical is a coffee grinder? Issues with the weapon including justifying the weight of the grinder to be added to what a soldier already carried, a soldier finding enough grain to grind a sufficient amount, and the compatibility of the grinder in the buttstock with other weapons was not ideal. A few of these experimental guns survived. Collectors refer to this as the Coffee Mill Sharps rifle. It is possible that soldiers use this gun to grind coffee beans in addition or instead of grinding grain. Well, I know I'd be grinding in that, and it sure as heck wouldn't be grain for the horse. Very cool. Very cool. I'll check that out. Commissary bin. Huh. For use in kitchens, for storage of stables, circa 1900. On the right, the bins are canisters designed to hold coffee to keep the grounds fresh. I know I've seen those handles before. Interesting. Interesting. This is a good museum. This is very good. U.S. National Cemetery. Fort Leavenworth National Cemetery. 2 burying grounds located along the river. One for soldiers, another for officers. Sites were discontinued between the years of 1858 and 1860, and the remains were disinterred and transferred to the present location. Very cool. Some good wrought iron right there. Lewis and Clark remind you to practice social distancing. Why? Okay, so they got this whole thing on Lewis and Clark here. Boy, but we're here for the artifacts more than anything. Look at that. French. Model 17. Hopefully you can read that. 1763 flintlock rifle. And then there is your cartridge box. That's a circa 1795 belly box. worn on a leather belt around the waist. It was adopted by the United States Army when it was organized as the Legion between 1792 and 1796. Very cool. Surveyor's compass, circa 1800. Wow, look at that thing. That's cool. Passage across. Oh, that's interesting. Captain Meriwether Lewis. There we go. Silver gun. Like this was mounted on the bow of Lewis and Clark's keel boat. They never fired the silver gun in combat, but it was often used as a signal gun to bring exploring parties back to the river. 2 shots were fired from the swivel, followed by a round of small arms to welcome the new year. Patrick Gas, January 1st, 1805. Very cool. Made by Spencer, Browning and Rust of London, England, 1784. Wow. And this is a 2-day marine chronometer made by Richard Hornsby of Liverpool, England, boxed by Frodsham and Baker of London, England, 1809 to 1849. Very cool. And that's a iMac computer. Okay, oh, here we go. Here we go. 1828 embossed eagle cartridge box and belt. 26 cartridges in 3 rows. Very cool. Infantry offer epaulets, circa 1825. Officer Shako plate, circa 1820. Well, that's a bucket list on everybody's bucket, I bet. US musket type 3, 1795. Harper's Ferry, 69 caliber. Very nice. Wooden canteen, circa 1810 to 1840. Carries more water than the modern ones do. And then your double frame sextant, 1790 to 1850. Wow. That's brilliant. That's a great display right there. Great Basin. Fremont. Very cool. Ah, more artifacts. 1840 flintlock rifle, 69 caliber. And regulation 1832 officers' epaulets and box. Oh, that's the box room. Okay, very cool. Regulation 1833 Dragoon Shako plate. Looks kind of French. And then regulation 1832 General Staff waist belt plate. Alright, the Civil War. They got a little thing here on the Civil War. 1858 Enlisted Forage Cap. See, that's got the regular eagle button on the side. That's what I've not seen here is an 1839 forage cap which had the eagle and shield, unless they got it in a different part. Let's see. Old 1860 Colt revolver. I was there when Geocache 0844 dug one of those at one of my permissions. This was a little bit worse condition than that one. 1861 US percussion rifled musket, 58 caliber. Springfield. Very cool. And you got your cap box and your cartridge box. Very cool. Over here we've got, there we go. Climax of the Indian Wars, 1865 to 1890. See, a lot of people don't realize the Indian Wars were being fought even during the Civil War. So yeah, talk about Patrick Connor. So, I mean, he was fighting the Indians out there in the West during and just after the American Civil War. Okay, model 1873 Army revolver, 45 caliber. 1872 Staff Officer Forage Cap. Ah, Staff Officer button too on the side. Interesting. And then we got the model 1889 rifle. This is what I've got. I've got one of these. Mine's a little worse for wear. Gotta find a guy who knows 45-70s. Can turn it into a shooter. Very cool. Foot artillery sword. Look at that thing. Looks like something out of the Roman Empire. Initially got its design from a Roman infantry sword used by the foot artillery until about 1870. Wow. Very cool. Alright, Santa Fe Trail. This is for you guys down there in New Mexico, Texas, and what have you. Shout out to all those Southwest hunters out there. Oh wow, look at this. So, starting at the top, we've got 1833 Hall carbine. Next one is your 1836 Hall carbine. I think this looks heavy. 1840 Hall carbine, a little bit shorter. 1843 Hall carbine. And then your 1847 Musketoon, which was basically a shortened version of the 1842 musket. Very cool. Saw one of these. This is actually this is the second one I've ever seen in real life. The first one was at there's a gun store in Camp Verde, and he had one up on the wall, and I think he wanted like $1,400 for it. So that's cool. That's very cool. That's it. We're here for the artifacts, right? Very cool. Just looking at the that's interesting. So the first one, 52 caliber, 64 caliber, 54 caliber, 52 caliber, back up to 69 caliber. Interesting. All right, 1833 Saber System. Interesting. Huh. So that's the Saber for that one, and then you got the 1840 Saber System, and there's the ever-present plate. Very cool. Here we got a couple of, we've got a starter for flintlocks. Flintlock 1836 Horseman's pistol, 54 caliber. 1842, sorry about the light, not much I can do about it. 1842 Horseman's pistol, 54 caliber. And then 1848 Colt revolver, 44. 12-pound mountain howitzer ammunition. Shell, canister, and cervical case shot. Okay, 12-pound mountain howitzer. I've actually, Camp Verde's got one of these. Arizona. Got one right outside the entrance to the museum. You can actually walk up and touch it. It's amazing how they were able to transport that thing. Got 3 of them here. Weapons of the Mexican Army. 75 caliber flintlock Paget Musketoon. Mexican 4-pound copper shot. Jeez. They made theirs out of copper, but they got a lot of copper mines in Mexico. Wow. Holy moly. Oregon Trail. Here's your mounted rifleman. They got the forage cap on, so you can see. Yeah. I'm quite familiar with a lot of those locations. Mounted rifleman. Raised in 46, protect the Oregon Trail. Yeah. United States rifle model 1841, also known as the Mississippi rifle, 54 caliber. My battery's getting low, so I gotta hustle through this. Light artillery. Hey, 6-pounder. Well, hello. Let's see. That looks like 6-pounder to me. Yep, 6-pounder gun right there. On one of my videos, you'll see me pulling those things out the ground. So yeah, actually it was Company B, 4th Light Artillery that came out with Johnson's Army during the Utah War. So it's pretty safe to say the 6-pounder I found came from that. Actually, this one here looks like the one at Camp Verde. Didn't have all the decorative stuff on the top. Love these guns. Supposedly there's 2 of them out in the Powder River somewhere where they were abandoned. 1855 authorized 2 mounted regiments to supplement the Dragoons and the Mounted Riflemen. Let's see. Jefferson Davis designated new regiments, cavalry, 1st and 2nd Cavalry, will be equipped with the newest weapons and accoutrements. Accoutrements, whatever the word is. However, despite a different name, they were in fact no different than Dragoon regiments in their drill and tactics. So the 1st and 2nd Cavalry, when the Civil War started, became the 4th and 5th Cavalry. So there you go. There's your stagecoach. Good Lord, I would not want to be up there. What do we got here? 1884 Springfield carbine. 4570 trapdoor. Look at that. That is so cool. So cool. Number 10 stamped in the butt indicates use by the 10th Cavalry. That would be our Buffalo soldiers. Those guys were grossly mistreated. Silk hand-painted stand used by the 10th Cavalry. That's brilliant. Look at that. Oh my goodness, look at that thing. See how threadbare? I mean, literally, parts of it are missing. P 1879 canvas overcoat. God, those big buttons look familiar. The Miles coat. Wow. That is cool. Hey. Enlisted Barracks. Look at that. Bunk bed. That's a lot different to the one I've seen. Wow. Very cool. Very nice. Let's see, model 1898 Craig Jorgensen carbine, and then you got the 1898 Craig Jorgensen rifle, 1892 bayonet and scabbard. (1892) infantry equipment. Wow. We're still using the 1874 mess gear. Canteen. haversack, and then their backpack. Here's your model 1903, 30-06. Lieutenant F.L. Warner. He etched his name in that one. Very cool. (1910) meat can. Canteen cup. Bacon can. Very important. Hard bread container. The 1910 knife, fork, spoon kit right there, and I know we've all seen those. Signal Corps, Aeronautical Division, that's what the airplane's for. Curtiss JN4D biplane. Look at that. M1902 3-inch field gun. Look at that baby. Can you imagine riding right there? Riding backwards, and it looks like you've got the brakes right there. Brake handle. Boy, I wonder how many soldiers had compressed spines after that. Flatbed, and then your buckboard. Very good. Well, I tell you, I'm impressed with this museum. A lot of artifacts. A lot of artifacts. This is how it should be. This is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Those are so cool. Okay, I think we might be done here shortly. What we got here? Some wagons. There's your freight wagon from 1848 to 1854. Ah, look at that thing. That's huge. That is absolutely huge. That's probably the one that had the 8 to 10 mules dragging it. Wow. And then we got some tools of the trade here. Let's see what we got here. Wagon jack. Oh, look at that thing. Harness maker's vise. Bullseye canteen. There's the sutler's tokens. Check that out. Chaplain's saddle cloth insignia, hair clippers. Polo. Huh. I say, do you have any gray poupon? Powers Cameragraph, number 5, 1907. Wow. Look at that thing. And here is the store. Believe it or not, right now they do not have t-shirts for the museum. Well, this is a good museum. Very impressed. Very impressed. Thank you, sir. It's a great museum. It is. It's the thing I like about it, it's got a lot of artifacts in it. And that's what a museum should have. Artifacts. You can't just have stuff written on the wall and pictures. You got to have the the real thing sitting there, so somebody can look at it and actually have an idea of what they used back then. So, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
You bet.
All right, you stay safe. Thank you. All right. Let's get on with the rest of this trip. Talk to you later, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. know it was long. I know I rambled along, but I hope you got to see what some of this museum's about. Just so as you know, it is on the base, so you have to go to the main gate and get a pass if you cannot get on with a military ID and what have you. So just remember that, military base, but well worth coming to. All right, folks, we'll talk to you later. Stay safe wherever you are. Bye-bye.